what is the most important resource in real estate? I'll give you a hint. It's not capital and it's not the deal. My name is Mathew Owens. I'm a California licensed CPA, a full-time real estate investor, and flipped over 1,000 houses now. We have over 35 million lent out to flippers in different markets around the country, and real estate is all about resources. And I'm going to give you the most important resource at the end of the video. So stay till the end to catch that key tip on the most important real estate resource. So the very first resource you need, of course, is that deal. You need to find a good deal that hits the right numbers. You have to be able to go and find those deals and understand how to break down the math of them, understand what makes them profitable or not from a flip perspective, from a hold perspective, and understand, all the different metrics to go into that deal. So you got a very good deal from day one. So finding that deal is very, very important. The next piece is capital, being able to put that deal together, whether that's using hard money or private money, whether that's using equity on the side or joint venture partners, bringing that capital to the table in as a resource for your deal is one of the most important things you can do. So you got the deal, you got the capital. Now what do? If all you had was the deal and the capital, you're dead in the water before you start. You need to know a ton of other things to do and strategies to bring to the table in order to complete this picture and be able to flip a property or hold a property or be successful at real estate in general. So one of the main things is that deal acquisition and that understanding of the flow and the process of the acquisition process, being able to talk to sellers, being able to help them and understand what their needs are so that they can get you that deal, so they can give you a discount on that property. You have to be able to give them something else in return or give them what they want in order to be able to get that deal at a discount. So one of the resources is that deal acquisition, that understanding of how the structure works on the sales process, how to talk to homeowners and how to help them. So very big resource. If you don't have the capital and you don't have the actual deal to start, you got to go find that deal. And the way to do that is being able to talk to sellers over and over again and learn how to market to them and bring those leads to you. So learning the marketing and the sales process associated with bringing those deals in is the key associated with finding that deal in the first place. So you could have skill sets in sales and marketing to bring to the table and fill in your piece of the pie to make sure that you make a piece of that deal by bringing those kind of resources to the table. So some of the other aspects of this as far as real estate goes in a deal is renovation expertise. If you understand renovations, you understand what things cost on a labor and material standpoint and are able to actually bring those contractors to the table, understand how to manage them correctly, understand how to do your right construction draws and do your checks and balances, understand all of the intricacies of hiring a contractor with their insurance, with their licensing, all of that stuff and the management of that renovation process and putting that whole thing together is a massive skill set that has to be learned. So you have to know how to do that in order to be able to be successful at a flip or a hold deal or any real estate project that you're working on, or have a team member that knows how to do that. So think of all of these resources that I'm going over as not necessarily do you have to bring to the table, but who do you know that can bring that to the table and deal with that piece of the pie for you. Sometimes it's better to split up and give away some of the profits on your deal so that you don't have to do that work yourself. So some of the other pieces is the sales expertise on the back end. We talked about talking to sellers, talking to buyers, or talking to sellers on the front end of this, but now we're talking about selling the property on the back end. That in itself is a whole nother level of expertise, being able to understand what buyers are actually looking for in this market, understand what things are going to stop a sale from occurring, understand the marketing methods that you'd utilize to get that property out there to get it sold. It might be the MLS, it might be going through additional online sites, it might be going through your own network and other investors to get that deal sold. So there's a lot of strategies on how to get that deal sold and the process that goes into that, making sure that everything's buttoned up on the property in itself, making sure that the marketing is distributed correctly out there, making sure that that salesperson understands the sales process and how to protect you as the property seller involved if you're selling a property on the back end. So having a key team member there that knows that strategy, that understands the sales process, the marketing process to get that property off your books is crazy important as well. So then you also have the deal management in itself. So actually from start to finish, the process for the acquisition process and the sales process from acquisition, the renovation estimates, the closing aspect of that property when you're initially buying it and getting all the right things in place with regard to insurance and title insurance and your inspections done and all of that stuff up front, all the way through the closing process to the renovation management aspect of this, and then to the sale or the handoff to property management, and then also that asset management afterwards. So that entire process is a skill set that somebody needs to do, whether that's you or somebody else. It has to be done. You have to have that deal management in place to be successful at this and to actually scale, in any degree. So you also have that kind of deal structuring and financial modeling that goes with any type of deal, especially on larger multifamily deals. You have a full financial modeling system that you have to put together where you're outlining all of the key assumptions, the financial projections, what you think the rents are going to be, what splits you're going to give to investors, what your debt stack is going to look like. So that financial modeling component and putting that deal together is a whole nother skill set that needs to be acquired in order to do those larger multifamily deals, or even some of the smaller deals. If you're dealing with single family homes or other aspects, you still have some deal structuring to do. Where you're going to get the capital from, who is your team going to be, who's going to do the different job responsibilities across the board, and what do those financial projections look like, whether you're doing a small deal or a big deal. You have to know the financial projections. You have to put all that together in order to be successful at it. Okay. So in addition to that, in addition to the initial deal structuring, you have the property management and operations management. You might be able to find the deal, get a great deal, do the financial modeling, raise the money, get the financing in place, get all of that put together. But then you still haven't made your money unless you perform operationally. And this is where a lot of operators fail, is they might have the ability to go raise a bunch of money, or they might have the ability to, structure these things, but they have no clue what they're doing on the operations side. And it comes down to understanding the key pieces of property management that go into making that property efficient. So leasing and servicing, service calls and repairs, accounting, the complete asset management aspect of this is actually separate from the operations management aspect of this, from actually doing the work, getting those rents up, doing the actual evictions, doing the tenant turnovers and the rent readies associated with them, getting them released across the board, and understanding the skill sets in order to do those items effectively and get things rented faster, turned over faster, making sure those rents are at market, as fast as you possibly can. So a lot of these, strategies need to be implemented on the operations management. And for you to be successful, you have to know the operations management aspect of this in order to do that. So the last big piece is the asset management aspect. So on top of the operations management, you also have an asset management component, reviewing the deal from a higher level, communicating with your investors or your lenders involved, reviewing the financials and the rent rolls, providing support to your operational team and solutions and resources to help them achieve what they should be achieving. So you're managing the managers and managing the operations, communicating with investors. So all of that is absolutely key. None of that is the most important resource associated with real estate. The most important resource is time. And I know it sounds crazy, it sounds ridiculous compared to all those resources, But in reality, your limitations are not going to be based on all those different skill sets and all those resources that I just mentioned to you. Those can all be developed and those can be outsourced. And so you want to be able to become proficient in those items so that you can know if you have the right team member that you're going to bring in there to do those things for you. But you are going to be significantly limited by your in your actual acquisitions and scaling by your own personal time if you don't find a way to outsource all of those items or have it in-house where your internal team is doing those items for you across the board and bringing in the capital, finding the deals, doing the sales process, the operations management, the asset management, the construction management. It's a lot of work. And is your time better utilized managing all of those intricate details, or is your time better utilized helping find the other deal, setting up the systems so that you can get that deal flow in, setting up the system so you have unlimited capital coming in over here, and setting up the system so you have proper operations management and management of those operations managers as well on top of that. So the more you are able to set up the systems and learn how to outsource each one of those responsibilities to reputable people that know what they're doing, even if you're giving up pieces of the deal for these people to do that, your scaling capabilities will go through the roof, and your time is the most important resource that you can utilize. You have to be able to be smart and say, what's your highest and best use of your time in real estate to scale to get to your goal. So start out with your 10-year picture, break it down back into your 3-year, where you want to be in 3 years, then go down to your 1 year and say, what are the activities that I need to be doing now to set this up passively so that I don't have to do that. Our lending business, I don't have to do a whole lot of work for anymore. A lot of it is set up very passively. Same thing with our fix and flip business. I have teams that do these things for me. And so I'm able to focus on education. I'm able to focus on raising capital and talking with higher net worth investors. I'm able to focus on some of my primary skill sets, which is deal structuring and finding new opportunities that are higher and better, that are going to create additional income streams as well out of those different implementation, tools that I put in place. So time is the most important resource. Yes, you need all those things. Yes, you need to learn all of the different ways those different resources get developed and how, and so that way you can outsource them and know if your person that's doing that work is doing a good job or not. So I hope this helps you guys. If you guys like this video, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. But time is the most important resource you have. Treat it wisely. Only work on your highest and best use of your time to be successful. Hope this helps, and I'll talk with you guys soon.